Welcome back to Reactioncast, where you can listen to us on Anchor, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, or any other podcasting platform, or now on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep in check with all your TV, anime, and movie thoughts and reactions. Alright, let's talk about episode 2 of Chernobyl. Please remain calm. So, things are getting into motion now in this episode, and it's interesting when people start to realize the gravity of the situation, and they start to like, oh shit, things are worse than they seem to be, or they start to take this moment of clarity, and it's really good that the show portrays that. Because God, episode 1 was getting to me. It was sad thinking about it, because you get these moments where like people aren't taking, there's no one taking fault. No one's thinking of the worst case scenario. They're thinking like, yeah, no, nothing that bad. No, it's good. We can just fix it. We just got to go do this or do that. But this episode, like, oh God, things start to, it starts off with that, some people trying to not like, try to avoid the major problem, but then they start introducing a couple new characters that are starting to put some voice of reason into some of these things. There is still some pushback, but little by little it starts to finally like hit, like, yeah, things are worse than we thought, guys. And then they kind of basically get called out because the radiation effects are now being like detected by the outside country. So now, they're fucked. Everything they were trying to keep quiet about is now a reality. And knowing history and what happened to Chernobyl now, it's pretty like, yeah, that area is fucked. Like, so this episode plays around with the kind of the what was happening with some of the people who were in the initial site, some of the firefighters, some of the people who were around there, some of the families that were out during, like, I would say, the ash storm. And you just literally just saw them in pain, because those people all basically got radiation poisoning, and they're eventually gonna die a very horrible death, because from what I know, radiation is like really messed up. So shoot, it's crazy, it's crazy. Looking at it now that they're kind of finally doing it, I'm glad that we get to see kind of some of the plans they were coming up with to try to. I'm not quoting, but quoting, air quotes, solving the issue. But it's something that has been an issue even till now. So they only quailed it, and I'm glad that this episode kind of portrays that they're trying to do their whatever they can to try to fix it. They evacuated the city. They did so much they did so much so late but it's crazy, man. It's crazy just thinking about it. So crazy. Now and they finished it. It was interesting because, like, for me, I only know the basics when it comes to Chernobyl. It's just this crazy nuclear incident that happened. But watching it and getting to know a little bit more of the backstory and some of the, it's for the most part, it's fictional in a sense. It's a narrative fiction. Say, like, they introduced a character here who, she's a made up character, but from watching, like, kind of the director's kind of cut at the end, what they did with her character is they used her as an analogy or something to kind of showcase all the other scientists. Like, she's the culmination of scientists who are trying to solve this problem, and apparently a lot of these scientists who were trying to figure out what went wrong and what could have been done were actually persecuted because of some of the incidents that occurred. And, shit, that's crazy. I'm getting to know that. But it's going to be interesting to just see a little bit more into it. And I want to know if that whole thing about, it's probably true, if they'd done their research of how it could have been a way more massive explosion and destruction if something wouldn't happen, because it ends with these three very I'm gonna say patriotic people sacrificing themselves at that point to kind of just save the people around them, their families and stuff. They were at first the people who know the layout. They're asked, we need someone to do this, but then there's a voice of reason in the crowd. We're gonna die. There's a high level of radiation, and you're not willing to tell us that we're gonna die down there, and I'm not gonna do it for that amount of money for anything. And then the I would say the politician at that point, the guy, he said, "You're right. What you're supposed to be doing here is basically sacrificing yourself to protect the people, to save millions." And at that point, yeah, that's true. And there's only so much level of patriotism to your life, you'll do. But there is things like that. So it was interesting to see that, and then just kind of watching these three at the end of the episodes kind of fumble around, and then you're basically watching dead men walk. You're watching dead men walk at that point. So I'm looking forward to seeing what continues from this episode. It's honestly a very, very intriguing show. So sadly, I have to wait now until next week or whenever these things come out. Oh, God. All right. So thanks again for listening. Until next time. See ya.